Good morning. So, yesterday, I'm a little torn. I'm trying to figure this one out. Yesterday, I had a Twix. So, I don't know if that qualifies as bread. I mean, it's a cookie. It's dough made a cookie, right? Dough makes bread. I don't want to make it into a habit. But I did eat a Twix. It was like, if it had been a Snickers, I'd be okay. But Twix, it approaches that borderline of breaking the rules, I think, a little bit. Anyway, speaking of breaking the borderline and pushing the borderline, today is day 48 of the videos. If Twix don't count, I was day 47 of my bread habit yesterday. And looking at yesterday, somebody said, wait a minute. Jeff, at the end of your video, you said that beginning with the end of mind is the first creation. But you said there's two creations. So is the second creation, is that second creation also part of begin with the end in mind? And the answer is no. That's actually the third habit. So we'll get into that later. It's a long book. It's going to take us a little bit of time to get all the way through it. In fact, after today, there's still 40 pages left in Begin with the End in Mind, and I think we're only going to spend another day or two on it, at least one more, because tomorrow is a good one. So here's another way to look at it, though. So again, you've got your first creation, you've got your second creation. The first creation is beginning with the end in mind, and when we start to look at it in terms of our life, the first creation is really leadership. It's that vision again. It's us taking a peek at everything that needs to happen. It's that leader jumping out and figuring out what you want to accomplish, climbing to the top of the mountain, or maybe better, the top of a tree, and looking at everybody else and saying, hey guys, we're in the wrong jungle. We're not even climbing the right mountain. We got to turn around and go back the other way. And sometimes it's a little bit hard to get people to steer and go the right direction. And like that's the first creation. It's taking that thinking time. In fact, there's another good book out there, and it is The Road Less Stupid. And he talks a lot about that thinking time. A lot of times the reason leaders fail is they don't take the time to think. They're too busy being in their business instead of working on their business. And that's why the first creation is first. It's why it comes first. It's important to draw those blueprints before you ever start to build the house. The second creation, that management, again, we'll get more into later. Parents think this way too a lot of times, right? We look at how we're controlling things. We look at the rules that we're making up. We're looking at how efficient things are being run and efficiently we are doing things as a family, instead of directing everybody, instead of helping the family to find purpose, instead of creating family values and having that family feeling and focus together. And again, a lot of times focusing on the decisions themselves and corrections and charts, like that's management. It's not leadership. So are you leading your family? Are you leading your business? To look at it a different way, it jumps us back into paradigms, right? You've got your rescripting techniques. So sometimes when we look at ourselves and we realize, whoa, wait a minute, like means I might be doing something wrong. I mean, I've had this realization quite a bit over the last few years. That I was managing instead of coaching, that I was managing instead of leading, that I was creating a lot of rules for my teams to follow and stick to, as opposed to guidelines and providing some structure that they were free to operate within. And so when you look at yourself and you realize that those are things that you were doing wrong, you can spend time working on that area. You're allowed to spend that thinking time, spend that creation time working on yourself. And when you're looking at and working on yourself, you can visualize and create a new experience. Like, you are allowed to rescript your own script. That's the amazing piece about us, right? Like if we don't like who we are, if we don't like what we're doing, if we don't like what we're becoming, if we don't, looking all the way at the funeral in the future, if we don't like what we think people are going to say about ourselves when we die, we are allowed to write the new story, which is so freeing and amazing, like of a concept, especially in these political times, right? Like we've been having a lot of political conversations recently, and you know, whether you're a parent or you're talking with your children or a friend about to talk with a friend, and you realize that they're about to say something that you disagree with, whether it's political or just in general, or they're about to do something that you disagree with, like you can feel those, like imagine that. You can feel your defenses start to build up. Like you're getting ready to go to war. You're pulling out the ammo and the big guns, and like your shackles are going up, and you're preparing your thoughts and your conversation and getting ready to argue. But again, if we look at that visualization and what we want our friends to say about us, what we want our family to say about us, what we want our coworkers and employees to say about us, if we look at that visualization and think back to how did we best serve them, we can rewrite that script and literally come back at them. And instead of arguing and battle and love, like we could come back with love, right? We could come back with good feelings and helpfulness and training and teaching and all the things that are supportive, not manipulative, supportive of being good friends, being good family, creating good guidance, and going places with that. There's actually a section of the book I want to read, and then we'll finish up for the day. I thought this was a really great paragraph. And again, I don't always like reading on video. It's a little less flowy, but I thought this was fun. So again, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey. Because I am self-aware, because I have imagination and conscience, I can examine my deepest values. I can realize that the script I'm living in is not in harmony with those values, that my life is not the product of my own proactive design, but the result of the first creation that I deferred to circumstances and other people. I can change. I can live out my imagination instead of my memory. I can tie myself to limitless potential instead of my limiting past. I can become my own first creator. Have a great day, everybody.